有想过吗？我们为什么会特别喜欢某款超跑、包包或是设计单品呢？其实背后是有逻辑的设计在影响我们的喜好。提出这种设计心理学的人，他是 Don Norman， 美国商业周刊评选他为全世界最有影响力的设计师。他也是第一位加入 Apple 公司担任 User Experience Architect 的人。他现在呢在加州大学 San Diego 分校担任设计部的主任。我们今天要打电话给他，跟他聊一聊什么样的设计会让人快乐，而且为什么现在像 Tinder、Snapchat 这种 App 在全世界爆红。
Find the right problem. Almost always when somebody gives me a problem to solve, I refuse to solve it because it's not the right problem. It's the symptom of the problem. And I want to solve the fundamental basic problem because if I can solve the basic problem, guess what? The symptoms disappear.
Hi, Professor Norman. Hi, hello, how are you? Thank you so much for talking to us. My name is Catherine. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hello. Hi. Haven't been to Taiwan for a few years. I enjoyed it very much though.
Do you agree that right now the design school system is actually helping to foster the next generation designer to design better products?
Just a minute. I want to get something. Here's a famous design.
Yes, well,
The Bauhaus. Yes. And their building.
yes.
And the wonderful things. And I think that
It's a huge book, Professor.
yes, it was given to me just recently as a gift from the Bauhaus University. But the problem is the Bauhaus did a very special kind of design that we even call Bauhaus design, and it is, in my opinion, not design. I don't like it. I dislike it very much. I think they made a mistake.
Mistake. Wow. It's
Because
a strong word.
The university, the Bauhaus, was really about art, not about design. Art is when you make beautiful things, or art is when you make a statement. Art is when the artist expresses themselves.
Right.
That's not what design is about.
Yes.
Design is about making things for other people.
Yes.
So the first thing is the kind of design I care about is making things for other people. I call it people-centered design, or sometimes human-centered.
Design.
Yes.
Okay.
But here's something.
Oh.
This is called a TIG, spelled TYG, TIG. And what's really, it's a cup. But it's nice because it has 3 handles. So what's nice is I can drink from it, and then I can hand it to you, and you can pick it up there.
Right. I can put it up there and then drink it from my direction.
Yes. And so, because otherwise with this one, I fill this with very, very hot tea, and it's hot. So I have to prevent it from being hot.
Oh.
But if I give it to you, guess what happens? You burn your skin.
Yeah.
So this is really nice, but nobody makes this anymore. I think in today's world, design really is a way of thinking, and I can apply it to anything. And a lot of my work in design is in healthcare. How can I make people healthy? How can I keep them healthy? How do I make sure there is good sanitation or education or transportation? We're going through vast revolutions in transportation. And these are not problems that traditional designers are trained for, because designers come out of art schools and architecture schools and out of craft. And when you learn to be a designer, you spend years learning how to draw, learn about materials, learning how to shape things, learning to make beautiful objects. But if I'm trying to say, I'm in Africa and I have 100 young children coming to be vaccinated, how do I know what their names are and whether they've been vaccinated before? Because the people carrying them may not even know their names, caretakers, and they just know each other by their given name, not by their. And I don't know, how do we keep track of it? Well, we work on that problem. That's one of the problems we work on. But the traditional designer isn't trained to do that. The traditional designer wants to design a product or a service. Beautiful, wonderful. But no, I want to make people healthier, or I want to educate people better. I want to bring education to the world.
Yes.
We need to change how we design.
Do you still think it's impossible for you right now to predict the next killer application in terms of technology, application and services and gadgets?
It's easy to predict. I can make that. The hard part is being right.
You talk about the human connection over and over. I've seen that a lot in your talks and your articles. Do you think it's still important?
I think the most important thing are people, and the human connection is absolutely essential. And one thing, so if we want to make predictions, we can look at what some of the fundamental human behaviors are. And one of them is we are social groups. We work really well in small groups. We like to be in small groups. We're very bad in big groups. Most of the problems we have in the world are when we have large groups of people, and the small groups often are opposed. You know, small groups can form good bonds, but different small groups often fight each other, and that's a bad thing. And so, one of the challenges is how we can change. Here's a problem that we're facing. It's not that it used to be that in the country there was a tremendous amount in common because the communication channels were limited. We only had a few newspapers and a few radio stations or a few television stations. And so everybody heard the same news, and therefore there was a lot in common. We shared so many values. Today,
we have so many.
And therefore you can pick and choose only the ones that you like.
Right.
Don't therefore hear other people's opinions. If somebody disagrees if we disagree with somebody, instead of listening and asking, can we learn from you? We change the channel, or we switch to some other feed. And we don't hear discrepant opinions. We've lost the ability to think constructively, to say, oh, so you think this and I think that. Why do we disagree? What is behind it? And it's really destructive. So what kind of tools might we be able to develop, designers, that could help better communication, even among people who didn't agree with each other? In fact, especially among people who didn't agree. There are some fundamental principles, and mostly they have to do with people and how people interact with the world. And one of the most important things is what I call discoverability. And it's really interesting that you may never have seen this ever before in your life, but appearance looks strange, but it's pretty obvious how to use it. You can immediately see, I can grab it and use it and give it to you, and you grab it and give it to another person who grabs it. It's immediately obvious, and it's also obvious for stuff in top, and you don't do that, spill out. So discoverability is one very important thing. A second is feedback. When I do an operation, I want to see the results. I want to know what happened. Another one is my ability to have a good model of what is happening, what I call mental model or conceptual model of the way the world works. So I understand why, well, if I pour water in here and I turn it this way, it all falls out. And And I have a good model of the fact that gravity holds it in and the walls keep it in. And now the gravity will cause water to fall out and there's no more wall. So how do we make things that people can understand when they're very complex things? That's what's harder. One of the problems we have in healthcare is that there is a feedback loop. If I smoke cigarettes every day, there's a very good chance I will develop cancer.
Yes.
Problem is, I get the cancer 20 or 30 years after I smoke the cigarette. And therefore, it's very difficult to convince people that it's dangerous because the danger is so far removed from the action. And that's another principle of design, though, is that you need good feedback, you need a good model, and you need to understand the world.
Professor, do you mind that we can take a look at is that your office at Design Lab? Is that okay?
Well,
for our audience to have a better sense of where you're at right now?
Sure, except let me tell you, let me switch the microphone and speaker so I can carry this around. So, this is not my office.
Oh.
That's the outside.
Yeah, it's 6 p.m. in the afternoon, right?
Yes, this is my assistant's office.
Okay.
So this is the design laboratory. And this is Olga.
Hi, Olga. Thank you so much for assisting us.
You're welcome.
That is my office. My office is My office is that table right there. And because I like to be out where the action is.
Okay, where the students are.
Where the students are and where their meetings are. And so when I want to have a private conversation, I borrow somebody's office. But we have a really nice laboratory where people are working.
Oh, wow.
And then we even have a kitchen in our laboratory.
And thank you so much. I think it's a great honor for me to get to talk to you like this.
Thank you very much.
希望你们喜欢今天的节目，并且从中得到一个全新观点。记得留言、按赞、分享哦！我们下周同一时间线上再见，大家拜拜。